Hello everybody, this is Hammer Striker here. Today I've got two Springfield Armory 9mm, the Hellcat Pro and their latest, the Echelon. Please don't forget to check out our website. Go to our affiliates page. You'll find discount codes for things like Mantis Axe and Core belts. Link to that cool little bore light that we use for lighting up the barrels. Use those links. It will often save you money, never will cost you any additional money, and helps the channel. And please consider supporting the channel on Player, formerly Utreon, where we can do some types of videos that are no longer allowed on YouTube. So today, when I do this comparison, it's going to be less about doing detailed spec compares, because these are different size guns for different purposes, and more about how do they potentially complement each other in the Springfield line. So the Hellcat is really a concealed carry gun. The original Hellcat has a shorter grip, has a little less capacity. It's more of a deep conceal. The Hellcat Pro is to give you that concealed with a full 3-finger grip, but more capacity than a lot of the guns in that small territory give you. So the magazine I just put in there is a 15-round magazine for the Hellcat Pro. Fits flush, nice 3-finger grip. And just recently, you probably saw our video, they came out with a 17-round magazine for the Hellcat Pro. Only a slight extension. So now I've got 17 rounds, so I've got basically full-size Glock 17 capacity in a much thinner, much smaller, much lighter gun. If I move over to the Echelon, which is the latest in their lineup, I pick up a few things. Now, it's still a full 3-finger grip. It's a little bit longer. This is getting more into that full-size gun. This tends to be more oriented towards competition and duty. We've got a little bit larger footprint overall, a little bit longer, more slots on your rail, and a backstrap. So you have the interchangeable backstraps. And just for a note, they don't use the same magazines. So the Echelon and the Hellcat don't share magazines. The Echelon comes with a 17-round magazine and a 20-round magazine. So again, you're more going towards that duty capacity and competition. Yes, you could conceal carry the Echelon. It's only 1.2 inches wide, and it's actually relatively light. It's 23.9 ounces with the flush mag, and the Hellcat Pro is 21 ounces. They would more complement each other than either one replacing the other. The other thing you're going to find that's going to be a little different is there's more tactical features. Different rests and places to put your finger. There's texture on the takedown. There's texture on the front of the trigger guard. This is really meant more for, I would say, competition. The Hellcat has a smooth trigger guard. It does have a little bit of a landing pad here, and it has a single slot, actually a 2-slot Picatinny rail. Don't worry so much about the number of slots. Glock's had 1 slot forever, and the aftermarket has adapted to that. Anybody that really wanted to survive and do well adapted to that single slot on the Glock. Well, therefore, they'll adapt to those accessories that'll work with Glock, will work with pretty much everything. Both of these guns are optics ready. The Echelon is evolved the whole concept of optics to where it probably, in my mind, should have been all along. They have a pin system under here. So the optics direct mount, and there's about 3 dozen optics that will just adjust the pins, set the pins to the right place, and the optic just mounts and goes. Kind of gets rid of plates. There is a plate for one pattern that just doesn't adapt well to that is available, but the majority of the optics that are out there, especially the more popular ones, just mount. The sights on these are similar. So you've got a front tritium sight with a green ring around it, makes it real easy to see, and you've got a U at the back. This one has elevated sights, so the Echelon has a little bit taller sights. You can see the footprint of them a little bit taller, meant to co-witness with larger optics. One of the advantages of a slightly larger slide is that you can get into that slightly larger set of optics. The Hellcat, being optimized for concealed carry, has standard height sights, and it's meant for the smaller optics that go on these micro compacts that tend to sit further down in the slide, so that you can get almost a full co-witness. You can see I can see half of the front sight when I line things up. So they really do complement each other well as far as carry this for my deep conceal, carry this if I'm able to have a little bit larger gun, use this for competition. The triggers are a little bit different. So do the Echelon. It's got a kind of almost a flatty trigger, not quite. There's minimal take up. a really short, light, crisp brake, relatively short reset, a slight tactile feel to it, you can hear the click, and then again you're right on the wall, that short crisp brake, and I'm going to show you all the way out. So there's the reset and there's all the way out. Overall trigger travel is fairly short. If I go to the Hellcat has a nice trigger, but it's not quite as nice as the Echelon. It's a little more take up and a little bit of a wall to pull through. It's a little bit heavier than the Echelon, but not significantly. A little bit longer reset, but still a nice reset. Right on the wall and pull again through the brake. And then I'll show you all the way out. That would be all the way out. So both of them have nice triggers. This is kind of more as a concealed carry trigger where there's a little bit more travel, a little bit shorter take up, in an attempt probably to reduce the likelihood of an unintended second follow-up round. So they're tuned a little different. From a pricing perspective, the Echelon actually comes in with a lower top price, but a slightly higher starting price. The Echelon is $679 to $739 depending on which variant you get. The Hellcat is $649 to $859 depending on which variant you get. And as far as talking about variants, both of these are available with threaded barrels. Both of these are available with an optic already installed right from Springfield. Both of these are available in a state compliant version of them, with the low capacity magazines. And by the way, the street prices will typically be lower. I quote MSRP because that's the one thing that stays consistent. The Hellcat has been around a little longer than the Echelon. The Echelon's relatively new. So the Hellcat has had a little more time to get some diversity. So there's multiple different colors available. There's a blue one, there's an FDE, there's a black and silver. So there's a bunch of different colors available in this, depending on what it is you want. I would imagine over time the Echelon will evolve just like that. It's just a matter of it's newer. They haven't had time to kind of start adding the various variants. When the Hellcat first came out, it was one size. It was the original Hellcat with the shorter grip, and it was available in any color you wanted as long as it was black. Then it evolved. So I would imagine the same evolution will occur with the Echelon. I think if you're trying to choose, it's going to come down to more what is the problem I'm trying to solve. I'm looking for high capacity, but I really want something concealable. The Hellcat Pro or the original Hellcat is really going to tilt you that direction. If I'm less worried about how I'm going to conceal it, if I'm open carrying, if I've got duty gun, or if I'm in competition, the Echelon's probably going to be the place you're going to go because you're going to get a little bit bigger gun, a little bit longer grip, a little easier to hold on to. And that extra bit of thickness will sometimes give you a little bit better control if you've got larger hands. Overall, I don't think you can choose wrong. If either one of these you choose is going to do well for what you're going to do, but they are tuned a little differently. Beyond that, if you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, click that bell up there to be notified if you do. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Player, Rumble. We're pretty much everywhere, and thank you.